everybody, I'm SJM. As you see, we just finished beating the game. That's the end of the series. We'll see you all in the next one. I'm such a joker. At any rate, we did go to the end. The stronghold there was really close to where I ended up basing just because of the huge amount of trekking around I did at the very beginning of the game. But I am, quite happy at the place that I ended up because I've got such a good mix of biomes around me. I didn't really notice it until I started needing, I needed to go to a swamp to get slime, and there's a swamp that's not too far away, right? There's a big swamp right here. There's, of course, taiga for spruce, which is almost always my preferred building. There's some dark forest right here if I need dark oak, which is a nice variant to have access to. Your normal regular forest with oak and birch right here. I've got one of the variant swamps down here. Unfortunately, no slime spawn down there, but if I need a whole bunch of vines, I can go there and get them really easily. Nice big river systems for clay and that kind of stuff. Sand, I kind of got to go a little bit out of my way up to this desert that's way up here, but tiny little deserts there in amongst all that badlands. Yeah, happy about that, and super happy that the stronghold entrance was fairly close because I went to the end, and immediately as soon as I spawned in, I was falling. And I freaked out. I had my elytra on already, and I freaked out, and I hit I tried to open my elytra and dash immediately before I started going down into the part that damages you and kills you, but it was just a loading error, and I wasn't really falling. I was standing on the platform, which just hadn't generated yet. So that eventually when it did generate, then my dash went off and I shot forward off the platform, and then I ended up in the void because I didn't have another dash to get any lever or any height back on my with my elytra. So I ended up dying there and having to walk back twice. Because the second time I put the water bucket down to go get my body, and I ended up falling out of the world at the bottom before I got my stuff back there. So it was a bit of an adventure, but it's just a vanilla dragon fight, so absolutely nothing special there. And there's absolutely nothing special about the end. There's no real reason to go there, except that eventually you're going to need some end resources for your vaulter. It's going to ask for end stone, which you can get in the vaults anyways. But it might ask you for chorus fruit or puffed chorus or purpur, which you get from chorus. Might ask you for end rods, which you get from chorus. So just grab some of those basic resources, like some chorus flowers, some end stone. And I did manage to grab 3 dragon's heads, because that's a super rare one, but it can come up in there, and it's just going to save you from having to go back to the end to get them. So it's kind of the main reason I went there was for dragon heads. We can craft elytra in this pack, so that wasn't even a big thing, but I did grab 3 extra elytras just to have them on hand for more mishaps. Like if I die in the stronghold or if I die in the nether, then I don't have to craft another elytra. I'll have one handy to go. Just going to do a quick update on all of those people who haven't been tuning into the live streams. So since the last episode, I got my storage system going. So I chose refined storage because I know it. It's simple. I'm not doing a bunch of the stuff that AE is better at than refined storage. Not in this pack anyways, so wasn't too worried about that. So I got my refined storage, but first I had to get that power source, right? So I went for power. We could have gone the cheap route and just got iron generators first, but if I had picked up this iron generators, it would have only cost me 1 initially, but would have increased all the others by 6. and POWA had only cost 5 to start, so I didn't want to have to spend 11 to get POWA later, because this is just a really great producer mod, and it'll be able to generate all the FE that I need for Mechanism, which is going to be my next upgrade there, or my next mod. The other thing that I probably should do is get drawers, because my disk drive is already 70% full here. And this is generally with just lots of stuff that I can't consolidate anymore. Like, you know, all the carbon you get, you can pack it down into refined carbon. You know, you get your 9:1 ratios out of there, but the vault scrap and the vault essence doesn't really go into anything. Like, sure, I could craft all this vault scrap into vaulterite ingots, but then that would probably use up all the painite that I got, which does have a couple of other uses. Mostly it's just combining with more vaulterite ingots to make the repair cores, but that's for later. I just didn't want to make all of those and not have any way to backcraft. So drawers is definitely the next one that I'm going to be going for, so that I can hook my system up to the drawers and then have it on priority, so that whenever I'm pulling in essence and vault scrap into the system, they can automatically go into the drawers, and all these high number items, they can go into drawers and ease off the needs in the disk drive, because the 16K storage part, if you watch the live stream, it's not cheap. It takes quite a bit of chromatic steel, because each of these black chromatic steel is 8 itself, right? So that's 24 black chromatic steel right there, plus each of these 4Ks needs 4 more chromatic steel themselves, and more chromatic steel just to make the 1Ks. So it's quite a lot of chromatic iron and the carbon, but it was good because I could at least use up some of it, but I did have to go mining for some chromatic iron, so that's definitely one of the bottlenecks at some point. So you're definitely going to want to keep some amount of carbon on, or chromatic iron on hand. So if you find that room in the vault, sometimes it's worth spending 2 to 3 minutes in there just grabbing a stack of it here and there, and that should kind of keep you topped up as you get deeper into the mods. But I want to stretch that even further, which is why I want Mechanism as my next one, so we can triple, quadruple, or even quintuple the outputs from all of these ores, which we get even more out of because of all the fortune on our tools. Let's put some of this stuff away while I'm here thinking about it. I need end rods. I just grabbed some while I was in some of those end cities, but none of the chests in the end cities had anything special. Like, the best stuff I got that you saw there was iron and gold, and that just because it saves me the time to go mine the stuff up out of the ground, because it was right there and easy to grab. But yeah, other than that, yeah, no real reason to go to the end at all in the pack. This is one of the handiest things with the refined storage, is I can get this importer there, and when I come back from a mining operation, actually let's put all this back in just to show what it does. The bucket I want to keep out. Throw that in there. I got some Dragon's Breath. There's no uses on this, but I don't think this shows up in the Vaulter, but it might. But we just put this on the ground in front of it there, and as you can see, it pulls out everything out and puts it into the system automatically, and that's because I've got a stack upgrade inserted in here, so it does a pretty quick job of importing everything. I don't even think I need any more speed upgrades in there. Just the one stack upgrade is generally good enough while I put away all the other stuff and organize myself after each vault. So yeah, POWA, refined storage, Mechanism, And then there's going to be some quality of life things that I want to get. Drawers that I mentioned there, just ease off the crafting of the discs for the refined storage system for those bulk items. Waste stones will be a quality of life thing that I want. I'll probably get the vault compass as well in the short term here, because that allows me to go deeper into the vault and in random directions, so that I can find some more of the high value rooms instead of just going into a room and just getting all of the points of interest, no matter like all the mundane wooden chests. I'm pretty tired of those now. And we've got tons of the resources that I find in all of those. So finding the more mining points of interest, the rooms that have like the more mining POIs, and then the other high value rooms like the blacksmith or the mushroom area with all the living chests, X marks the spots rooms, village rooms. Village rooms are a little bit more harder, but they're a challenge room, not necessarily an omega room. Maybe the puzzle rooms. I haven't found a puzzle room yet. Those are going to be good to start finding, but yeah, getting some more of those high value rooms that get you a lot of bang for your buck rather than just getting a whole bunch of wooden chests. What else on here did I want to go over? Yes, expertises. So I still haven't spent my expertise points, but I have figured it was kind of between bounty hunter, marketer was kind of in there, but not really. I can always, like, the market re-rolls every 2 hours anyways, so that's not such a big deal. Bounty hunter, in the end, I don't think the rewards we get from each of the bounties is strong enough to warrant the points here at the mid game, because the leveling is starting to ease off and get longer and longer before each point, and we're going to want to run some like vaults with some specialty things. Like some points I'm going to want to go and find a whole bunch of living chests so that I can get knowledge, or I'll want to do a whole bunch of ornates so that I can get some more gear, or gildeds because I need the things that you find in gilded chests. And in that regard, I think going with one of the catalyst expertises here is going to be the direction that I go. I haven't quite gotten to catalyst just yet, but we'll be getting there soon, and I think that's going to be a big part of the optimizing in the mid game. Is making our own catalyst. So I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards Mystic because this allows us to get more things onto each catalyst, because it lowers the chance of the crystal becoming cursed and unmodifiable, whereas this one just reduces the chance of getting a negative modifier. I guess they kind of work together in a sense. Maybe I'll be getting both of them eventually, but I think for this level and up until we get to level 40, there'll be that'll be my point, my direction to go for my expertise points. Put this away. Stuff can go away. I gotta plant some of those down. Don't need a bucket anymore. Yeah, so in the quests, still have to get into, or I finished one dungeon already, but it didn't give me an archive, so I wasn't able to get this quest at that time, and I haven't seen another dungeon in, I don't know, 8 or 9 vaults since then. So they're not super rare, but I'm just not finding them, maybe, is the issue. And then the modifier workbench, I'm not in a hurry there, but getting down here, because we're going to be level 40 soon, and I'm pretty far away from getting all of these. And although I think these will go pretty quickly once I do find this archive. And I'm holding off on this one because I'm not so iron rich to make the modifier workbench, because it requires an anvil. But with the 60 that I just found at the end, maybe I'll just go ahead and craft one rather than picking one up out of the vault. And also, I've started on my last tier of farms here. So this section, this top area will be for flax once I don't need those potatoes anymore. And down at the bottom here, I have done a small cactus farm just to bring, because cactus appeared on the vaulter, so I wanted to get that set up and going. So it's just a 4-banger with 1 fence post, and it's coming in slowly but surely. Got 19 there. And then over here I've got another wort farm. So that stuff is coming in somewhat passively as well. I got to come down there and collect it, but you know, we get 15 to 18 at a time out of that, and that's good enough for now. Other than that, the only other farm I've built was the mob farm. I didn't do that on camera or anything, but it's just a simple 3-tier dropper that's it kills some things at the bottom, but not all. So sometimes I get to use my looting sword. I think if I move it up 1 block, it wouldn't kill anything automatically, but then it would require me paying more attention rather than just me hanging out up there and putting it on and watching a video or something or a movie, and then, you know, every 15 to 20 minutes 2 or 3 swipes with the sword will kill out everything that didn't die when it fell down, and then I can go back to watching my movie and not actually have to manually work my mob farm. I think that's everything I wanted to cover in this video. I've still got to get more animals. Like, I need to get rabbits going, I need to get turtles going. I haven't needed to get pigs yet because of my nether spawn is in the Crimson Forest, so I'm always, every time I go to the nether, I have to fight off 4 or 5 of the hoglins, so I end up with a ton of leather and a ton of pork. So whenever those show up, I haven't had any troubles with those ones just yet, so I haven't had to get pigs in there yet, and I haven't even got my cows up to 64 yet. So that's the state of those things there. I never noticed, but all these faceted focuses, if you find one that has guaranteeing you something that you don't think you'll ever use, they've got a soul value. So just kick them back through the soul diffuser and you'll get something out of them rather than getting nothing for them. So I'm just keeping some of these ones, which I might want to get, but not any super high need for them just at this point now. Gonna do that. Oh, that was almost perfect. Oh no. You gotta be careful when we're doing that. I just ruined how many stacks of endstone? So there's 2 recipes for what 9 endstone in a thing. So one gives you this heavy endstone brick, and then the other one will give you the compressed blocks. I wanted to have the compressed blocks so that they don't take up all the space in my storage system. And I ended up making the wrong one. Oh, that's horrible. Maybe we'll find a use for them somewhere. Do they have any uses? No, none. I can cook them up and make cracked stone, which those don't have any uses either. Brutal. Yeah, be careful with your stone and obviously the end stone as well, whereas they have multiple crafting options. When you put 9 in the grid, you have to remember to click the button up above the output there, so that you don't get the wrong thing. Oh well, it's not like endstone's hard to get. Just go back to the end. It's only 500 away, and it'll be even closer once we get waystones going too. So anyways, that's it for this short episode. For those that don't want to tune in for the live ones, which can be boring at some points, obviously, but I like doing the live streams because this pack isn't super geared towards making shorter form content. Just going through the vaults and seeing how people do their vaults is a lot more interesting. I guess I forgot to go through how I've got my skills set up. So I've got my Poison Nova with the Toxic Reaction giving me 90% chance for every enemy that I kill to generate another Toxic Explosion. So that's my main way for clearing out those points of interest where like 8 or 10 mobs come spewing out of it. And then generally the other ones, when there's like one mob that comes out of it, I'll just take my time and chop it down with my sword because I don't have any other kind of attack power at this point. I've gotten all 4 ranks in my speed now just to make things a lot faster, so that feels really good now that we're up to speed in the vaults. And then just with my leftover points, a couple of vein miner, a little bit stronger heal for now. But the problems I'm running into right now is mana. So if I use my Nova a little bit too often, then I'm out of mana and I don't have anything left to heal. So it's been a problem here and there, but generally not. 2 things that you want to look out for when you're going into the vaults here into the mid game are the Nether vaults and the Void vaults. So I always bring in 3 of the extended duration fire resistance potions because that should cover off most of the time that you're in the vault. You absolutely need these if you find yourself in another vault with all the lava all over the place. There are enemies that will set you on fire. And magma blocks, just all that stuff adds up really, really quick. So you definitely want to have fire res potions as you go in, on top of having usually a full stack of gold, because we can find trinkets inside the merchant rooms. So those cost 40 to 50 gold. So you want to make sure that you've got enough gold to buy those when you see them. I've also been buying knowledge stars when I see them in there as well. And then obviously I keep between a half a stack and a full stack of sweet kiwis in there just for those times when I'm not quite making it out of the vault in good enough time. Saved my life a couple of times for sure, having some kiwis as we go in. And yeah, the void vaults, basically when you go in there, if you're at these lower levels, the only thing you want to do is grab at least 1 bucket of void liquid. This stuff, if you stand in it when you're in the vault, it accelerates your vault timer. So like every second that you're in the void liquid is like a half a minute or a full minute of time off of your timer. So don't stand in that stuff, as well as the enemies in the void vaults are super dangerous. So I went in the second to last one I went in there. This ended up being a void vault. So I ended up proccing 1 point of interest. This super mad Enderman came after me, was doing a ton of damage to me, and some deep dark piglins. I didn't know what they were called at the time, but these guys started coming after me. I took care of them with the Poison Nova, but there was a champion, just happened to be a champion in the first point of interest that I opened up, and yeah, he was hitting me for 8 health, like 4 hearts at a time, with a ranged weapon. So the running away from him had me real scared. I was down to like 2 hearts and running down the hall to get back to the entrance to get out, and thankfully he missed with like 3 shots in a row, and I ended up getting out alive. So I ended up surviving that one just by pure luck, really, more than anything. But yeah, just get out of the void vaults if you end up in one. Kind of sucks. But until you get your power level up a little bit higher, I don't think they're worth taking on. Or if you're doing the what are they called? Not the Plunderer's Pearl, the Warden's Pearl. Wherever the Warden's Pearl is. This guy here gives you the afterlife. At some point when we're starting to see those void ones more often, I'll definitely be doing this a little bit more so that we can have a crack at going in some of those, because you have a lot higher chance for the rare ores in those vaults, so there is a reason to want to go into them. And even maybe if I get the craft on one of my on a catalyst or something like that, then at least we've got, you put the afterlife on there, you don't lose all your stuff if you happen to encounter one of the soul vultures or whatever the uber enemies that are in those guys. All right, enough rambling. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Come join me in one of the live streams if you see me going. Throw a hi down in the chat. If I'm not too engaged in the gameplay at the time, I try and keep an eye on it, but I'd like to be a pleasure to say hello to all of you over there. And yeah, I appreciate you all, and we will see you in the next one.